how to get started on your fitness journey.
You're listening to the Live, Live, Play podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to the Live, Live, Play podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Kinsler, and today we're going to discuss how to get started on your fitness journey. And as a gym owner and for being in the industry for 17, 18 odd years, I've seen this time and time again. And the problem is that there's too much out there. There is too many options for people to try, and like options are good, but if you even look at, let's say, fitness, Google fitness, what you will get is 140 million hits of different types of articles or training programs, gyms around the world that are promoting fitness. Now, that is a good thing. It's also a bad thing, and I'll get into that in a second. Then if you type in gym, now obviously you're going to be looking for a gym in your local area, but if you type in gym, you're going to get 1,860,000,000 hits. Okay, now in your local area, if you take where I am in Bray in Ireland, there is about, in our local vicinity, there's about 10 different types of gym in a 5-mile radius. Realistically, there's big gyms, there's strength and conditioning gyms, there's personal training studios, there's women-only facilities, there's budget gyms, there's swimming pools, and then there's all sorts of sports teams as well. The scope is huge, and we get this, but this can also be something where people feel that there's too much option, so there's too much to pick from. It's like a kid in a sweet shop trying to look for something, and there's too many sweets, or a toy store. Bring your kid to a toy store and watch them freak out. I want this one, I want that one, I want this one, I want that one. Like, this one will be the best, and that one will be the best. And the fitness industry is no different. The other thing that we want to kind of talk about is that the fact that there's that many fitness facilities, there's that many activities, but the nation, the world is getting bigger, is something that is there's a disconnect between the two. Okay, we've more gyms than ever, we've more nutrition than ever, we've more access to activity than ever before, and we have problems. Okay, but for today's topic, we're going to talk about how to get you started, up and running, and starting the correct fitness program for you. Now, we're generally talking about people who are in their early 20s and moving up. This does equate to teens and kids as well, but we're going to kind of look at mainly just diving into adults here. So, how to get started, where to get started. Firstly, you got to understand is like, where are you right now? So what's your point day? The best way to associate that or to figure out what you're doing is to hire a coach, or and even an online coach, or go to your doctor, local physician, and figure out where you are right now. The first step in getting started is actually making a plan. Sitting down, your first training session should be actually sitting down and designing or writing out goals and designing what you want to do, and actually how many times a week can you physically do exercise. So a lot of people say, well, I don't have an hour, I can only train 2 times a week, I can only do this, I can only do that. You got to look at it in the point of, what can I do and how important is it to you? And here's the thing, if you don't have time to train 4, 5, 6 hours per week, that means that your fitness and health is not important enough to you. Now, you could say that I don't have enough time in my day, but that I would argue, if we were to look at your lifestyle, if we were to look at your working week, if we've seen how much time you spent on TV, we've seen how much time you sit on the couch, we've seen how much time you're on your phone or watching videos or Netflix or anything along those lines, we see how much time you're just like hanging out with friends in coffee shops or in the pub, we could find at least 3 to 6 hours per week for you to exercise. But if you're not willing to give them up, it means your fitness is not important enough to you yet. And this is one of the problems that we see. People join gyms, especially coming up to January. They're going to join gyms. and different types of programming, and then they're going to fall off the wagon because the motivation was there, but the real aspect of changing your lifestyle is consistency and being consistent throughout the year, and we're going to talk about that today. So what are you looking for in your fitness? A lot of people get caught up in, I want to run a 5K. Running a 5K, like realistically, I could get anyone to run a 5K or a 10K, and your body shape will barely change. Okay, running a 5K. Firstly, I've helped my members, and I've heard personal clients run their first 5K. It's an amazing achievement to get it there, but running alone is not the answer to any fitness problem. Okay, it is not the answer. It is a good activity. I personally went out for a 22-minute run this morning. The first run I've done in a long time. Didn't really enjoy it. I'm not a big fan of running, but I do run because I feel that there is a need there, but it's not the be all and end all. It is free, and if that's where you're starting, by all means start there and move on, but you have to have all the information as well. But what are you looking for? Firstly, when we delve down into the goal setting, you ask people, what are you looking for? Generally, I want to run a 5K. Why do you want to run a 5K? Oh, I want to get stronger. Why do you want to get stronger? I want to lose body fat. Why do you want to lose body fat? These are the questions that we ask, and we go back and we keep asking why. And the reason for this is that eventually I'm going to get to the point where someone is going to say, I'm not happy with how I look and feel. And in this modern day politically correct world, apparently we're not really allowed to be unhappy with ourselves. We have to accept ourselves. It's acceptance year and acceptance nation and all this stuff. And that is just actually hindering people. But what we're looking at now is that when you turn around and you say, I'm not happy with how I look, or I'm not happy at how my body makes me feel, or I'm not happy with my energy levels, and I find that I'm not productive, and I'm a little bit more angry, and I'm more anxious, and I kind of feel I might be slightly depressed, and I've got kids, and my stress levels are through the roof. When you come to that realization, that is your point A, and that is you are not happy with how you look and feel now, and your mission is to take steps towards getting you out of that situation and feeling better about yourself and having more energy. Now, this takes time. It takes a long time to get in this position, and it takes a long time to get out of this position. Trying to turn it around in 4 weeks won't work, but it is a start. Your motivation will be there. But it's the consistency and picking the time frames per week. So when you're looking at your days, if you say you can only do 2 days a week, do your 2 days, but you can get outside for a 20-minute walk every day. You can do something every day for 10, even if it's not 20 minutes, it's 10 minutes. If it's not 10 minutes, you get out of the office for 5 minutes. You see where I'm going with this? All the little things that we do on a daily basis that add more activity to your daily lifestyle will impact you throughout the course of the year. So what should you be doing? All right. Firstly, if you're looking to drop body fat, and if you're looking to kind of build lean muscle tissue, and you're looking to be fitter and healthier, and realistically, for most people, it's that they want to look at themselves in the mirror and be happy at what they see, and actually be very, very happy when they go, I look good, or I feel good in this. And it's about, and again, a beauty is objective. People like different people. So if you feel good in yourself, that is the goal. Okay. Don't worry about what other people are saying. It's what you feel is the main thing. What you should be doing. Firstly, if you're a man, you should be lifting weights and doing a lot of mobility. Okay. Lifting weights, doing a lot of mobility and some conditioning. And for women, you should really be doing a lot of strength training. All the programs. Now, I'm not being, like, you could say I'm being biased because I run a strength and conditioning facility, but I know from fact that when we see people that come from other sporting endeavors or fitness endeavors, when we make them stronger, they tend to excel. And we know scientifically, we know that if we make the human body stronger and move better, then everything else will get easier. Firstly, the stronger you get, the more lean muscle tissue you'll create. Then you will also have a higher metabolic rate, which will enable you to potentially burn more body fat for energy. Also, if you do women, this will also help increase your bone density. All the yoga, all the Pilates, all the Zumba, all the other stuff. Now, I'm not knocking these fitness trends or like classes. I'm not knocking them in any way, but they're not the be all and end all. Like running's not the be all and end all. And strength training is not the be all and end all, but it will give you better bang for your buck. It will build more bone density, which will help again offset osteoarthritis, osteoporosis as you age. And that is more impacts women more so as you age. So weight training is one of the main things. And then it's not just basic weight training. You should be doing the following. You need to learn how to deadlift. You need to learn how to squat correctly and with load. If you have limitations or if your body's a bit beaten up or bad knees and stuff like that, you need to learn how to do it correctly before you load weight. You need to be able to push a weight above your head. You need to be able to press a weight off your body and pull a weight to your body. You need to be able to pick up something heavy and walk with it for distance. And you need to be able to do the primal movements is what they're called. And you squat, hinge, push, pull, and do a loaded carry. And if you can fit that once, twice, up to 3 times per week into your weekly routine, you're going to see significant increases in your body and in your energy and just how you look and feel. But for a lot of people starting off, it's going to take more time than that because you're mentally not in the position, you're mentally not in the position to make the sacrifice. So what do? So here's a very simple strategy to start exercising. Now, for this, I don't really mind what you're doing. If you've been sitting on the couch for months on end or years on end and not being active, it doesn't matter what activity you're going to start because it's going to benefit. Any extra activity in your life will benefit you. Yes, strength training will trump most, but if you're not active, anything's going to do. And that is from walking to hiking to a bit of running to swimming to cycling to any fitness class, boot camp or strength and conditioning program. But here's what you got to do. You got to look at it in perspective of positivity. Okay? So if I say to you, and this is what happens in January, people come in, I want to do 4, 5, 6 days a week. I'm gung-ho. I want to get rid of the body. And the reason why they want to do that is because they generally overindulge and they feel really sluggish. And here's the other thing. Sorry, we'll get back. Here's the thing. When you overeat and if you are gaining weight, and generally this happens over Christmas, then you are motivated because you feel uncomfortable in yourself. And you don't like how your body's responding, your energy levels are off, and all things kind of hit the fan. So you want to make a change, and you want to go all in for 4 weeks. You quit alcohol for 4 weeks. You start training, but then this, as we know in the fitness industry, it all starts to die off between February and March, and then come the summer, it's 4 weeks to get in shape for holidays and all that. So here's what you do: you pick, if you've never exercised before, pick 2 days a week, okay? Now, again, I don't mind what you do. If you're going for a walk, it needs to be something that's going to make you break a sweat and get your heart rate up, okay? Up over 110 beats. Your phone can pretty much do your heart rate monitoring now, or you can get a heart rate monitor. But up over 110 beats, and you need to walk for 20 minutes, okay? So you set your timer, you walk out 10 minutes from your doorstep, and then once the timer goes, you walk back for 10 minutes. And you do that until that becomes comfortable, which will be about 2 to 3 weeks. Then you increase the time, or you try and do it faster, that distance faster, okay? Then you can progress to running or anything else that you want to do. Now, you do 2 days a week, okay? And even if you want to do 3, you don't. You sustain that for 2 to 3 weeks. Then you move to 3. Okay, the problem that we see is people say 5, they do 3, and they're annoyed with themselves. See where I'm going? If you say I'm going to be active every day, and I'm going to get up and do my walks, or I'm going to go up and do my runs or my cycles, or go to the gym, and you're active 5 days a week, I'm guaranteed, I'm in now, I'm going to make the change, and then you're only getting 2 and 3. You're already psychologically losing because you feel annoyed with yourself because you in your head you failed. So in your head, you failed the task you set, but you set a task that was unachievable. So if you say, I'm going to do 2 100% on a Monday and a Thursday, I'm walking no matter what happens. And then if I do an extra day, that's a bonus. So look at it this way. If you said 5 and only did 3, you're annoyed. But if you said 2 and did a third one, you're winning. And that's the way your training should. And if you're not used to training, you're not used to exercise or activity, that's how you should look at it. And then when you've done like 2 months, 3 months of hitting 2 days to 3 days a week, then you go, right, I'm going to do 3 days a week. That is my goal. No matter what happens in my life, I'm going to be active 3 days a week. And if I get a fourth day, I'm winning. There's the bonus. Then eventually, by the end of the year, you'll have put activity into your lifestyle so often that you'll be active naturally 4, 5, 6 days a week, even 7. And activity doesn't have to be the gym every day. It can be a walk. It can be a run. It can be yoga. It can be Pilates. It can be Zumba. It can be something. And the one thing that you do need to find is something that you really enjoy, that makes you laugh, that you have a good connection with the coach or the instructor and with the people that you're training with. You need to find something that will do that for you as well. The training system could be hard, but the people supporting you are there to help you get there. So that's kind of how you look at it. And then set a plan, get your diary out and set a plan that every Monday or every Tuesday or whatever days you have to train. And if you put it in your diary and you get it done, there's nothing in the world that can stop you from being active. Okay, on those specific days, on those specific times. And then if you do miss a day, right, it just means you owe yourself that session. So if you missed a Monday, you make sure that Tuesday morning is where you go. And if you have to get up an hour early, then you get up an hour early and get it done. We're not worried about anything else other than being consistent in our activities. Okay, and that's kind of how we want to do, and that's the winning formula, really. That's how we get a winning formula for you to be active. And it's like on the psychological aspect of this is that you will start building that mentality, that mental resilience to get a day done, get an extra day here. You'll throw an extra day in there. And then you'll try something. You'll try something different. And if you go from walking, like this time next year, if we go from November 5th today to this time next year, and you've gone from 2 days a week walking to 3 days of running to joining a gym to starting strength training, you will be a completely different human being. Your body fat will be down, your muscle will be up, you will have more energy, and all you've sacrificed is you get up an hour earlier, or you went to bed an hour early and stopped watching Netflix, or you went off social media because it's actually just mindless scrolling. Those little things, whatever you need to do to get there is what we want to see. How do you keep consistent? All right, you got to sit down. You got to write your plan out. You got to write your week. Every week, you got to write your weekly plan out of when you're going to train. And if you know something's coming up that you can't physically train on that day, you got to put your training in another day. If it's a case where you have to do a Monday and Tuesday and you don't train the rest of the week, you still get your 2 days in or your 3 days in, whatever your plan is. Find like-minded people. Find people that love doing what you do, and then find people that will challenge you to push a little bit more every now and again. Setting goals is also a good thing. So saying that by the end of 3 months, I want to complete so many sessions. That's my goal. And you work towards completing those sessions and then reward yourself for doing so. So if you hit all your sessions and you've tried, so you're going to do 3 sessions a week, let's say you've done 2 walks and you've gone to the pool, or you've gone for 1 gym session, or you've done 2 gym sessions and you've gone for a walk, and you've hit every single session for 3 months straight. Reward yourself, but don't reward yourself with the pizza or the night out for food. Reward yourself with something fun, something that you want to do that you haven't done in a while, where it's going to even if it's just going out and hanging out with friends that you haven't seen because of work, life, and family are in the way. The goal is to challenge yourself, right? And most people challenge themselves their challenges are too big to begin with. Okay, so if I want to run the marathon, I don't just get up and go run the marathon. I have to train towards the marathon. But when it comes to fitness, people think or assume that they need to just go all in. But you can't. You have to build it up. You don't go out and run 26 miles on your first day. You go out and run 2-3 miles, and you build it up over a year so you can run the marathon a year from now. That's the safest way to do it. Same with swimming, or if you want to do a triathlon, and same if you want to lift heavy weights. You come into our gym, you'll learn how to lift weight with an empty bar. We'll look at your movement pattern. As you get better and more efficient, we'll start loading weight. And then as your body adapts over months, it will get stronger and stronger and stronger. And then you're lifting heavy weights, or you're deadlifting 100 kilos for a woman, or 180 to 200 kilos for a man. And that's how we do it. You're doing a couple of pull-ups. You're doing push-ups. You're able to run 5K on any given day without actually worrying about it. You can just get up and go. But you've had to work towards that. Okay? And that's kind of how, like even at our gym, when people join, we always just recommend 3 days a week. We don't recommend any more than that until you're consistent with your 3 days. Because we know that people that go all in tend to burn out quicker. So we want to build them. We want to support them and get them to their goal at the same time. But we know it takes time. The other thing that we kind of like, I think is very important, is that in modern day society, we look at just make everything's convenient, and we don't put ourselves in an uncomfortable situation anymore. And I think this is necessary as humans, because we grow up kind of looking at. Sorry, just let me I'm just grabbing something at the moment off my phone. But when we there's a book called What Doesn't Kill Us, okay, and it's written by Scott Carney, right? It's a really, really interesting book about the human mind. And it's about doing things that normal people would feel like, it's like getting into cold water. And I know that's a big trend at the moment. Getting into cold water, doing an obstacle course, doing like an endurance event, doing a lifting competition, entering a functional fitness competition or CrossFit style competition. Doing something that's going to make you feel uncomfortable is really, really good for your mental health. And the reason for that is because when you achieve that uncomfortable thing, you tend to process things easier. So when you lift a heavy weight, or when you've completed a Hell and Back or a Tough Mudder or a Spartan race, there's a part of that race, or running the marathon, that like the hitting the wall, there's a part of your mental, your psyche, that just goes, no, let's stop. And then you have to have that internal battle with yourself to keep going. But the achievement factor, when you've crossed the line or finished the event, your body releases obviously a sense of like it's just your endorphins, you feel great. But also your mental resilience gets an extra layer to it, because it's one of those things that, well, if I can do this, I can do anything. And I think that 3-4 times a year, you should put yourself in a challenge or give yourself a goal. Also, that will help to keep you consistent to achieve something that is going to make you feel uncomfortable, because the benefit to you and to your mental health, it will help lower depression, it will help lower your anxiety. You will become a just stronger person physically and mentally. So guys, to wrap it up, simple is that to get started in fitness, you got to sit down, you got to write your plan out, and then commit to the 2-3 days a week that you know 100% you can get it done. From there, start trying different classes. If you're going to join a gym, find the right coach. The coach that will work with you for your goals, not what he thinks is best because he's a bodybuilder or he's a CrossFitter or he's a sports athlete, okay? It's what's best for you. If you have back problems, if you have knee problems, hip problems, shoulder problems, any sort of injury or underlying issue, you need to get them sorted. So find the right person that can help you get them sorted so you can do your run, you can do your triathlon, you can enter your competitions or any challenge that you have. If you have any questions, you can contact us, leave the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have on getting started in fitness. Guys, thank you very much for listening to the show. This is just audio only. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on Spotify. We are on Podbean. Check out all the other shows. This is episode 10. We are releasing episodes every week. I am chuffed, and thank you all for the followers and the people downloading the show. It really means a lot. We have some amazing content coming. We have some amazing shows. And if you have any topics that you think that you would like to hear on, leave your comments below and I'll be happy enough to do a podcast on it. And if you want to be on the show and talk about anything fitness and health and mental health related, again, we would love to have you. Guys, thank you very much for listening, and I am out.
You're listening to the Live, Blitz, Play podcast.